Welcome to the Live the Call podcast, where I speak with guests living and working their soul's purpose. I'm Pamela Downes, founder of Spirit Calling and trans-channeler of the Great Council of Light. Every episode, our guests share their awakening story, and together we learn how they came to live their spirit's call. Join me in tales of self-discovery, enlightenment, and transformation to amplify your healing journey.
This dream where I was awake in the dream. I felt like I was awake, and there was this luminescent woman at the end of my bed, and she, at the end of the dream, she said, I asked her, "Why are you here?" And she said, "I used to be you." And so in that time, this was in 1985.
Welcome to Live the Call. I'm your host, Pamela Downes, and I'm thrilled to welcome our special guest and my friend, Tina Marie Bueno. She's a new earth catalyst and transformational healer, and through integrated conscious channeling, Akashic record reading, and beyond quantum healing hypnosis, she helps others access their soul's wisdom and awaken their intuitive gifts. So I'm excited for this conversation, and I know that everyone is intrigued by what I just said. There's like a whole handful of amazing tools and skills that you have, Tina Marie. And I would love to talk about your spiritual awakening journey. What
First of
led
all,
you?
thank you.
What led you to doing all this cool stuff, and just the story of how you got to be this quantum healing hypnosis and Akashic record reader and conscious channeler. And I just want to welcome you. So thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And, I've had the chance to be on Spirit Calling and meet some of your other members and your professionals. And it's amazing what you've built. It's
It's
so beautiful. It's so what's needed right now. And everybody I meet is awesome.
They love
But
you
it
too.
makes sense because so are you. So.
Thank you. You're so sweet. Well, I feel since I met you, there's just been this kindred spirit. There's like it's like a knowing. I feel like I've known you forever. And everyone that's inside of the portal, there's just this deep connection there. And it's because we're all finding each other at this moment in time on planet Earth. And we're all here to help support the consciousness shift of humanity. And we all woke up, you know, earlier in our lives. And the people that are waking up now, we're here to help support them. And so, this conversation we're having serves as an inspiration to those people who are just waking up, who are finding us and saying, what's quantum healing? And what is this? And what is that? And I want to learn more about this. So when we share your story about who you were and how your awakening journey was, it inspires them. It helps them see, oh, I can make my life better, or oh, I can step onto this path. So I'd like to start talking about, when did you start waking up? When did you tap into the gifts that you have? How did it all begin, Tina Marie?
To begin, first of all, I want everybody to know that I am an ordinary person, but I've had some extraordinary experiences.
Mm,
And I always feel like it takes me decades at a time to really learn what I've experienced along the way. I started out. I lived around the world. We traveled moved to different countries and lived in different around the world. And my parents, though, my dad was with the CIA. He's long passed, so I can say that now.
That's great.
But that kind of life lent itself to just be quiet, don't be seen, don't be heard.
Mm,
And my household was lots of trauma, and so
mm,
that was very suppressed and not expressed in any way either. But what I do remember is that I had empathic abilities because I could feel a lot of the energy that was around me. And I think I also had some telepathy and clairaudience because I
mm,
hear people's thoughts. And I think that combination kind of would just help me navigate, I think, some of the trauma that I experienced. And but then life went on, and I went through the whole process of I was raised a Catholic. I went to undergrad, I went to graduate school. I just had a normal life, but there are what I would say three particular life-changing points for me. They were very pivotal. And one was when I was living in Hawaii. I was an undergrad, and I had this dream where I was awake in the dream. I felt like I was awake, and there was this luminescent woman at the end of my bed. And she, at the end of the dream, she said, I asked her, "Why are you here?" And she said, "I used to be you." And so in that time, this was in 1985, I had no idea what any of that meant. But you could see how that would really impact you in some way, right? And it did. And it really got me on the track of looking at my dreams and following, wanting to journal about my dreams and understand them. And so that started a big journey. And I didn't realize it would still take me decades, but over time, I realized that I was getting messages through my dreams, but I still didn't know what all of that meant at the time. Then my cut to another decade, and my second pivotal point was I was living in Japan, and I met a wonderful man who had studied with the Huna Indians of Hawaii. And they had a sacred ritual, and he would have me lay on a table and put a gold uh, acupuncture needle right on my third eye. And once again, I had no idea what was about to happen or what was going on. And in that session, which would last a solid 3-4 hours, I would journey. Now, I know how to put that word in there because at the time I didn't know, but I knew that my consciousness was moving into other life timelines. And I could see in those life timelines how the people in my life, the roles that they had played, I had played with them in other life timelines, how they kept showing up. We kept interacting with each other. And there was something about that made it really substantially significant for me. And that started to unfold for me a little bit of just some clarity. And he told me my life would change. And after one particular journey, where I put my heart back into my chest because I had suppressed so much, my whole life crumbled, and all of my beliefs about myself. By the way, have you ever noticed the word beliefs is be lies?
No.
Lie, right? Be lie. I don't know what the F stands for. I could probably insert something that's not rated PG, but be lies. And all of these be lies, beliefs, were suddenly just showing up. All these things that if I could do a crumbling sound, like like
Yeah.
the whole world was collapsing, and everything that I knew about myself was up until that point was actually just coming apart, and a relationship ended, and it was dramatic though. And so, that would be the dark night of the soul moment.
Yeah.
And I share that with people because sometimes those awakenings that you have, spontaneous awakenings, which is what that was, becomes a dark night of the soul because you have nothing to grasp onto, nowhere to, if you don't have any background, if you don't have the people, and this was back in the 90s, 90, yeah, in the 90s, and so 96. And it was crazy. It was very crazy, but there were certain things that would just show up, like a person who who perfectly timed would show up, who did energy healing. And then another, a book, Barbara Marciniak and Barbara Brennan, like they would, the Hands of Light and messages from the Pleiadians. And those
Wow.
books, like really, how I found those books in Japan, because, we didn't have like, Barnes
Yeah.
and Nobles and all that stuff over there. But how I found it, I really, to this day, I just have no idea. It's like a little
It's
hole.
incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
And then, but what I really got from that was, I was remembering though that, first of all, we do have multiple life timelines. And I really began to understand that. And that was a big thing for me, because, I had no idea.
Yes.
Cut to like another decade. I'm a slow learner, but cut to another decade. and I am really pushed. And oh, by the way, at that particular moment, um, that's when I started, my clair audience started again, because I would
Mm.
journal. I would journal my healing, because it really, I had it was just heartbreaking experience. And so I would journal, and I would get messages. And I knew at the time that I was clairaudient. Later on, I asked, why did I, because I'm clairvoyant, clairaudient, I'm all of the clairs, but, or I have all of those clairs active. And I asked, why was I, only hearing things? And my team came through and said, because if you were to see things, you would interpret them from your life experiences.
Mm.
But if
Makes
you
sense.
listen, you have to get out of your own way and just write what you hear or say what you hear. And so by the time I was really well trained in just listening, getting out of my own way and writing, then I was preparing for that next level,
Mm.
up. The next level up came after I left corporate. I was really just feeling the urge to get out there, and all of a sudden I was getting, while I was in corporate, I was starting to get visuals, and I was starting to get definitely messages coming through. And so channeling started up for me, and I picked people that I knew really well, that
Mhm.
just knew I wasn't insane.
That
And
you
I
felt safe
start,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I started practicing, and bless their hearts and I would say things that there's no possible way, even though I knew them, that I would know. And so I followed that, and I kept saying yes. Every time something would come up, I kept saying yes. And that was a really big thing. And I would
Mhm.
have to overcome my fears about it though, because,
Mhm.
coming out of the closet, this was back in 2004.
Mhm.
Still,
You were ahead of your time,
2004,
lady.
it still was
Yeah.
not a big thing. And
Yeah.
I was in I had a healing center at the time. And, the question would come up, can you do group channeling? And I'd say, I don't know, but I'll try. And boom, I would then be doing group channeling. And the Cities of Light, the newer Cities of Light Council came through, and that's where I got a guided journey to offer to people. And then the Palladian High Council, and then the next real big one was the Galactic Council. And they said, would you like to step into being the voice of the Galactic Council? And I was,
You're like, I don't know. Okay. Yes.
it took me a while. I was like, really? And yes, do I have to? And of course, there's no have tos,
Yeah.
but like the call was there, right? Like spirit calling.
Mhm.
So the call was there, and I answered the call. And so then I was channeling the Galactic Council to groups, to people. I would hire channel their higher aspects, their inner knowing, their guides. And that unfolded for a very long time. And during that time, and that's when I started to understand that I'm a multidimensional being, because I kept journeying and I was moving and channeling other dimensional beings. But you can't channel other dimensional beings unless you have an aspect that's also holding that frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. And so you channel to the level that you are, or wherever you are. And then there was the third really pivotal moment, was these two women that everyone kept saying, oh, you have to meet these two women. And they very powerful spiritual women. And I already knew how to journey, but they did an attunement, and I took off through my heart, took off, and I ended up in what I experienced was a great ball of light. I mean,
Wow.
to me, that's what it looks like. And I was inside of it, and I knew I was source. I was inside oneness. I was in source. And there was no separation. There was no I. I'm only using those
Mm-hmm.
words because I have such limitations. There was infinite love. There was infinite being. Everything, all that was in this experience of that moment. And then the next thing that happened to me, Pamela, was like a firework. I birthed from oneness. The moment I ever came into existence from source as a unique, individuated source spark, I birthed. I had that experience.
Wow.
And from that, I could see all of my expressions as source, experiencing it throughout the omniverse itself, throughout the omniverse. And from that, I understood that I completely changed another lie and a belief that
Yeah.
was I'm separate from
Mm-hmm.
God, from source, from all that that somehow it's outside of me.
Right.
And because that was not the experience that I know. To really let that go was a huge major turning point.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, once again, I just kept saying, yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I'll
Yeah.
try it. I'll try it. I'll try it.
Yeah. That's the thing that I was going to come back to from what you were discussing before is you had to say the yes. You didn't have to, but you were pulled to. And when we say you have to, it's like for the advancement to continue is that's that conviction to the universe, to yourself, to everything that is, that you want this, that you
Yes.
want this. You're pulling yourself towards remembering back to yourself. And um, you know, there's fear associated with that. You showed up with your courage for more, for that was greater than you, but felt a part of you. And that's the thing that I just want people to know because we have all the same story. We're all returning to our soul sense, to our all that is being. And sometimes it feels outside of ourselves and scary, but by exerting that courage, by exerting that wonderment for the unknown and just discovering it, it's scary. You're pushing forward. And so you went from that to because you said yes, to birthing out of oneness. I mean, like it's so cool. I'm seeing it as you're speaking it. It's so fascinating and beautiful. And I can't even imagine what that felt like to experience that. And they're the experiences that you continue to have when you continue to show up for your soul, when you continue.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
No matter no matter if other people don't understand you, or no matter what it is that you're experiencing, you can't get it wrong. You really,
Yeah.
literally cannot do anything wrong. There's no mistakes. There's no, even if you don't feel sure of yourself or you don't feel clear, there's no mistakes whatsoever. And it's really important to understand that um, you're always exactly where you're meant to be. And when it comes to you, if there's this thing that shows up that's asking for you to say yes to, it's because you're ready for it. You're ready to remember that. Because we come in, we really are masters before we come in here. And we come into an environment where we are, where we're remembering with every experience that we have. And we're like, oh yeah, that's why I came here. I mean, we don't remember anything. I mean, some people do. Some of them are
Yeah.
gifted to remember their, other life timelines, which to me, by the way, are everything is occurring simultaneously.
Mhm.
Like for me, like horizontally, that's all of our life timelines, and they're all occurring simultaneously. And vertically, that's our multidimensional aspects. And we are in more than one dimension at a time. We're in all of them, many of them. We have lots of experiences. And so when we come in as a human and we just bring it down to this, this three linear time,
You're stuck.
it feels like you're stuck. It does feel like that until we get to the point where we just keep saying, yes, wait a minute.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
I know something else. And,
Mhm.
it may not be the popular notion. And I still keep pushing, buttons for people because I still say things that people just might not accept.
That's why you're here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it is when you have that full real experience of accepting the journey, or you're moving into the next part of your life, you do have the breakdown like you talked about. You have to. I feel like that's happening to me right now. It's like the reality that you have right now, it doesn't match the reality that you are already in, that you're about ready to birth into, or whatever that is. And so everything has to kind of, it's like the metamorphosis, right? That
Yes.
shifting. Yeah.
Right. And I think that the key is that for you, if you are going through something like that, is that you have this openness. For me, I don't know. I think I might have been a little stubborn, along the way. It's like drag me,
You're like,
keep dragging all the way through. That's why it takes me so long. I have an openness, and that makes such a huge difference because you have, first of all, you have so much support around you, and you have such an awareness about it. And the fact that you're channeling that, there's a lot to, there's a lot to guide you from within and help you navigate this now. And of course, Spirit Calling Site is perfect for that, because
yeah.
anybody who's going through something, some type of awakening, it doesn't have to be so harsh. The
Hmm.
only reason why I believe it can be super harsh is because resistance.
Yeah.
That's where I was. I was in
Yeah.
resistance. I didn't want to let go of anything. I wanted to
Hmm.
keep controlling it. I for darn,
Hmm.
that's how I was. That's how I was taught. You control it. You make it happen. You make it
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
That's not exactly how it works.
No.
And there's more power in giving up that control. There's
Hmm.
actually more power there.
Yeah. Man, oh man, the 3D experience, it's just
Right?
so challenging. Like it is, because that's what we're taught to do. We're taught to struggle. We're
Yeah,
taught to be forceful. We're taught to stand in our power and speak what it is that we want and make it so, and manipulate and cut someone down or to get what we want. I mean, that's really what we're taught. Not to use our heart, and not to use our energetic body and our clair senses and our intuition and our compass and all of those
right.
things, and to release and let it go.
Well,
And
think about it. Even like
yeah.
now, today, like how often we've been for that next level, we understand
Hmm.
that thoughts create, right?
Hmm.
But really, it's the heart. The
Hmm.
heart is where it has to create from. The heart is everything. The power source, everything is within. And the messages, everything is within us. And if we're trying to stay in our heads about everything, which is that control factor, if we're trying to stay in our heads and make it move the way that we think it should move, then, or B, then we're losing the battle. I keep hearing the Borg in my head for all those sci-fi for all those Star Trek resistance is futile.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I just had a business call right before this where I was like trying to prove my point, trying to prove my point, and it was about finances. And I was like, what am I doing? I mean, just be an allowance, allow this to unfold, allow this to happen because
Yeah,
I do not have control over this. It is going to happen the way that it's supposed to happen.
yeah,
And you only learn that by going through it and doing the surrender and being on the other side of it and seeing the fight versus, that struggle versus release, the struggle versus release, because we are taught to do that. And the more we just allow and watch things unfold, allow and watch them unfold, and then get to the point where you're creating and you're bringing it in at warp speed, because you're just not even thinking about it. It's amazing. Like it's amazing.
it's true. And I would go even a step further and say, that expression, let go, let God, or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Well, see, that's still you letting go to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're saying let go and let your God self, unless you're willing to say that, which I don't know how many people are willing to do, but what we're really releasing and letting go of when we talk about that mental energies, we're allowing that source self within. We are unleashing our source self to really take over because yeah, exactly. And we access that through our hearts. And when we let that occur, then it really does happen for our highest and greatest good, no matter what it looks like, no matter if it's different than what we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
We really can let it go, and all those lies,
I
beliefs.
love that. That's my first. I'm 54 years old and I'm hearing that for the first time. I love it. It's going to be like my new thing I say all the time. Tina Marie said it.
I'm
But
sure
it's
I'm not the
true.
only person that says it, but
It's so
you heard
great.
it today.
I heard it today. You all heard it today. But I think it's important for people who are just starting the spiritual path to see us saying these. We are still in the human struggle and we know all of this stuff and we've experienced all these things and we see quick manifestation and we understand surrender and we are still having our human experience and expanding our consciousness and understanding all these things. And that brings us down to like the level of where people are like, okay, they're approachable. I understand that. I can relate to that. And that also helps with being in a position of being a teacher or a guide or a mentor or whatever that is. Because that's, I think, the thing that I hear most often is I heard my story and your story. Because I hear my story and your story, Tina Marie, and you hear your story and my story. And these people who are listening to us on the podcast and in our community are relating to our story because it's the human experience. It's the soul experience in the human body on planet Earth having this three-dimensional experience.
Yes, and all of that is because when we talk about New Earth and moving into a fifth dimension frequency of a fifth dimensional matrix, what we're doing this is we're not, and we use the word ascension, but really
Mm,
it's inscension as far as I'm concerned. And really what we're doing is we're bringing that from within us. So we're not leaving the planet, even though there could be a split and there could be other things that are going on, but we're not going to some other place. It is within us because we're
mm,
multidimensional beings and we're anchoring it into the physical body. So we're not dissolving, we're having this human experience, but it is an evolutionary shift and
yeah.
we're moving within it. So what are all these things that are coming up for us? What is all these chaos or the contrast? All of these
Mm,
things are all to show us where we're holding resistance.
mm,
Where are we still holding resistance to the truth of who we are, that source within us, that source that we really are? Where
mhm,
are we telling ourselves the lie that we're not?
Mhm.
And where are we trying to navigate in an old way, an old system, because nobody really, knew how to teach us any of that stuff. My parents didn't know. Some people come in, blessed with parents who are really on it, but
Yeah.
you like, where is that resistance? And that resistance, every time we see it, is just that wonderful learning opportunity, a wonderful time for us to recognize, wait a minute, I'm holding on to something that isn't true
Mm.
anymore. And once we really let go of that and we surrender to the truth of who we are, to the source within us, then we're able to make just quantum leaps. And it can be that fast. We can drag our feet like I did every decade, or we can go, you know what? I just don't need that anymore.
Right.
Exactly. I just
Right.
don't need that. It's like, why am I doing that?
Mhm.
And we can make a shift. And so much of it depends on where we place our focus.
Mhm.
Where are we focusing our energy? Are we focusing on the difficult? Are we focusing on why someone is doing that to me or to them or to us? Are we focused on that? Or are we focused on releasing, unleashing the source within us? Is that where we're focused?
I love that. I love the visual of that every time you say it.
Thank you.
I see it like Clark Kent or with this,
There you
they
go.
open it up and it's this
Dun,
glowing
dun,
ball. Yeah. It's this glowing soul body that's in there. I think that's amazing. Can you talk a little bit about how you work with people now
dun.
and some of the things that you're doing when you're helping people on their spiritual journey? And I'd love to hear about that.
Sure. It's constantly evolving,
Yeah.
but I do, in private sessions, I tune in to someone's higher self, source self, soul, whatever we want to call it. I tune in and to the crew, and I get
Yeah.
messages for them, and they can ask questions. And usually, I think my sessions are not about. They're not about telling about the future, because you are creating it with the frequency that you're in right now. So the real
Hmm.
key is getting people to recognize where they are right now. And so what
Yeah.
is it that they're pulling themselves into or pulling to them? And it's really about clearing anything out of the way that keeps them from being able to feel that source self, that answer, all those answers within. So sometimes we talk about dreams, sometimes we talk about their whatever. And then
Mm.
I do also do Akashic record readings. Now, my Akashic record readings aren't live because I have to go in and I put it together in like 30 pages
The
and go
process.
into
Yeah.
the process.
Mm.
Exactly. And I cover all kinds of things there, their points of what their points of origin, some of their first incarnations, or where they've spent the most time cosmically, and life timelines that are very pivotal to them, what they came in with, their plans, because we all come in with a plan. We may not know the details of that plan. Like, for example, if you're thinking about, like, kicking yourself, or, wondering why you had an abusive childhood or something, it's not, you don't come in with the plan of the details of that. What you come in with is an overall experience and theme.
Mm.
And so we look at the themes. What are the themes that you came in with? What are the trainings that you have? What if you, in between life timelines, what kind of training do you have? Are you helping people adjust in between life timelines? What are you there for?
Mm.
And so that's in the Akashic record readings. And then in the Beyond Quantum healing hypnosis, you get to journey. You get to go into I guide you all the way through, and
Wow.
go to wherever is important for you right now. And then, and those last a while. Those sessions are a bit long. And yeah, those are the main things I do right now.
How long are those sessions? What does a bit long mean?
They could be like 3, 4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. It just takes that kind of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think that some things are coming up though because the latest group that I am channeling is the New Earth High Council. And so they've got some fundamentals, FUN being the key word there, some fundamentals that are coming through that are important. And so I think that maybe some training will be coming in for that.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Well, I've worked with you, and you know, it's I've worked with so many different people, and this is, I think, important to also say, like when you're starting out as a journeyer, not, on your spiritual awakening path, you're going to be pulled towards different people, and you're going to experience, like the book that you received exactly the time that you need it, like the person that came. You're going to start dabbling in little things and starting this path. But then as you expand, you'll need more and more support and more and more support. And you find the people that you need exactly the time that you need them. And I feel like that happened with you and I exactly when I needed something that was more robust, and someone who has had similar experiences to me. And I would love to tell everybody right now who's starting to hear and see and sense and feel um, that you have support like Tina Marie to help you navigate through those experiences, and they don't have to be scary. You can flip that upside down, open up that superpower, inside of you, and really learn how to do it in a way where you feel so like it's comprehensive, and you're learning something new rather than experiencing it in a way where it's fearful or you don't understand it, because it's shifting so fast too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It
So
is. And I think that your community, for example, the spirit calling community, it's such a safe space for people to
mm,
go. You can tell that it is a passion project. It
mm,
comes from your heart, and that is a safe space for people. And I think that's so needed around the planet. We need more of you. We need
yeah.
that
Oh, thanks.
because
Thank you.
we really, yeah,
Yeah.
you have to feel safe and you have to feel like you can say whatever,
Yeah.
say anything to me. Nothing is going to shock me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
It's true. And even me, when I'm like, can I say anything? I could say anything. You're like, you could say anything. It's not
Anything.
going to, okay, okay. Because I got a lot to say. There's a lot coming through. I need to,
Yeah.
but it's so true. And part of that, we did create that space in Spirit Calling. You're a part of that space.
Thank you.
And part of feeling that you can use the safe space is pushing through the fear, to know that you do have a cushion to land, a very, very safe space where people love you and want to know how they can support you. And it's a beautiful, beautiful place. So we're so grateful to have you there.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, so
Yeah.
grateful to have this conversation today. Can you tell people, first of all, I want you to tell people about your book. I want you to tell them about your website and all the things. I want everyone to know how to find you.
Well, I do have a book called Mastering Your Dream
Yay.
Interpretation Meanings. I do that. I sell that on Amazon.
Hmm.
Um, it takes you through a step-by-step process, a 7-step process that I've acquired over the years. And it tries to simplify you being able to get your dream messages. Because for me, that's all that matters, is that you're getting your
Yeah.
messages, and you are the best source for that. And since mine first started coming through dreams, I figured, well, you know what, there might be a whole lot of other people who are getting messages through their dreams and just aren't aware of it. So I have that guidebook, and then I have tinamariebueno.com or newearthmastery.com. They both lead to the same place. Um, I'm new to like a little bit new to having things on YouTube, but New Earth Mastery.
You're doing it.
I'm starting
Yeah.
to get into it, and I set up an Instagram account.
Yay.
I set it up, but I haven't gotten that far yet. It'll be
That's
New Earth
awesome.
Mastery. So if you just kind of sign up, at some point when I start posting more, then you'll get information.
Yeah, and this is evergreen content. So this is going to be, on Spotify and YouTube, and I will put all of your information in the show notes so people can find you.
Thank you.
So it will be your platforms will be propagated by then probably, and you'll have a lot of stuff on there to offer. But you're amazing, and I know the community when you did a workshop about interpreting your dreams and understanding dream messages, they freaking loved it. They thought it was amazing.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, it was awesome. So we'd love to have you do that again in 2025. And for anybody who is just watching, Tina Marie is an alive professional inside of the spirit calling community. You heard us talk a little bit about the safe space we've created. But also, what was really important to me is that people that I love, that I've worked with, that I know, trust, and honor their work and understand it, are there in the community to support you. So if you're feeling called, come and check it out and know that you've got a beautiful, beautiful group of people with open arms waiting to help you and support you. But Tina Marie, I just want to thank you so much for joining us and for
Thank you.
sharing your story. You're welcome. And your insights. It's been amazing to have you on the podcast. And to everyone else, thank you so much for listening. But I want you to remember, until next time, within every moment lies the call to listen to your spirit, answer it, honor it, and always live the call. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode sparked insights for you on your healing journey. If you're searching for support and connection, you should join our community at spirit-calling.com. Spirit Calling is a like-minded community of spiritual individuals learning, sharing, and growing together every day. No matter what you're experiencing in your journey, you'll find resources and a community to support you along the way. Until next time, keep listening to your internal guidance and stepping into your spirit's call.